Hey y'all, I'm Caroline and welcome to the Lazy Tea Kitchen. Today we are going to be cooking up a Thanksgiving meal. Forget the turkey this year. We are going to be smoking up a Dino Roast. Now, if you're not familiar with the Dino Roast, it consists of ribs 6, 7, and 8 cut from the short plate primal. And these are some monster ribs. So if you're a fan of ribs, you're gonna love these. We are going to be smoking this roast and then covering it with a cranberry honey barbecue sauce, which will give you that traditional Thanksgiving flavor. So this will go on the smoker for 5 hours. You're going to smoke the Dino Roast at 225 to 275 degrees, and we'll be using a pellet mix of maple, oak, and cherry. To get started, we are going to trim some of the excess fat off of our Dino Roast before we pop this on the smoker. Now for this recipe, I'm using Lazy Tea's Dino Roast. This cut has plenty of marbling, as you can see, woven throughout. So shaving off some of this top fat is not going to impact the juiciness. It's just going to allow the smoke to really penetrate the meat. Now that we have trimmed some of the excess fat from our Dino Roast, I'm going to use some of Kent Rowland's Rib Rub seasoning. I'm gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes and kind of let the rub become like a paste on the meat. And then I will put this on the smoker. So now that our ribs are ready for the smoker, I'm going to put them on a pan with this rack. Now this is going to reduce cleaning time on the smoker and then also allow for quick and easy transport to and from the smoker. We had our first snow of the season the other day. Steve is over here helping me set up the smoker. Thanks, Steve. So now our Dino Rib Roast is on our smoker. While the Dino Ribs smoke, I'm gonna eat some lunch. This is some beef stew that I cooked in a pumpkin a couple days ago. You can click the link and make it for yourself. I actually cooked this beef stew in a pumpkin, and it's a beautiful table centerpiece for Thanksgiving or really any fall gathering. So I'm just gonna eat this with some bread for lunch. And then after this, we'll get started on some beef dressing. Thanksgiving at the ranch looks a little bit different. We're not big turkey eaters around here. We have plenty of delicious beef to enjoy. And so we get to think a little outside of the box when it comes to creating our Thanksgiving dishes. So our Dino Roast with a cranberry barbecue sauce will pair really well with our beef dressing. And I think I'll also whip up some potatoes and maybe some carrots too for our Lazy Tea Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to be using 2 pounds of our Lazy Tea ground beef. Most of the time with dressing, you'll usually use 1 pound, but I want to make sure that this is protein packed and sure to feed a lot of people. And so I'm going to use 2 pounds of this ground beef. You'll need 1 onion chopped. This can be any onion you have in your house. You're also going to need a chopped apple and 2 stalks of celery chopped. So I went ahead and prepped that. You'll also need 8 cups of cubed bread. I used French bread for this recipe. To get started, we're going to brown this ground beef. Go ahead and preheat your oven to 325 degrees. So now that we've browned and drained our ground beef, we're gonna put this in a large bowl with all of our other ingredients. So I went ahead and put our ground beef in this comically large bowl. At this point, we'll just add in our other ingredients. So I've already put in our chopped celery. Now I'm gonna add our chopped apple. Should we get all that? And then our chopped onion. We'll also use our about 8 cups of these cubed bread. To season the dressing, you'll use about a tablespoon of poultry seasoning, a teaspoon of salt, and then half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. And we'll use about 2 cups of a low sodium chicken broth. So I've gone ahead and mixed all of the ingredients in this large bowl. So now I'm just going to add our chicken broth, and then we'll put this in a large dish and pop it in the oven for an hour and a half. Oh yeah, they're looking so great. So we'll let this smoke for another few hours, and then we'll get to pull them out. You excited for the ribs? Now we're gonna cover our dressing and bake this at 325 degrees for an hour and a half. As our Dino Ribs roast, I'm gonna start work on our barbecue sauce. So for this recipe, I'm gonna use 2 cups of fresh cranberries. Now I'm going to add half a cup of ketchup. Now let's add a full cup of Wyoming honey. Then add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Add half a cup of red wine vinegar. Then add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. A teaspoon of onion powder. A teaspoon of garlic salt. Add half a teaspoon of black pepper. Add 2 tablespoons of Worcester sauce. So set your sauce over medium-high heat. You're just gonna wanna cook this until the cranberries have burst. This step should take about 5 to 10 minutes. Once the cranberries have burst, turn down the heat to low and let simmer for 10 to 15 minutes or until it reaches the desired thickness. And look, we have a visitor in our kitchen. Who could this possibly be?
Steven Good.
How are you today, guest?
I'm fine, thank you.
How are you enjoying our snow?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
What'd you do yesterday?
I slept.
So at this point, our ribs have been cooking for 4 hours. So we want the interior of our ribs to be around 160 degrees. We're gonna transfer the ribs into a metal tin and then we're gonna put it back on the grill or on the smoker with the lid. I went ahead and put our ribs in a metal tin with 8 ounces of beef stock. I'm gonna cover it and it's gonna braise for the next hour at 275 degrees. The Dino Roast is out of the smoker. I've gone ahead and added the cranberry barbecue sauce on top of it. And here it is. So here it is, our Lazy Tea Thanksgiving dinner with our Dino Roast, with our cranberry barbecue sauce, and some beef dressing. The links to these recipes and our product page are included below. What do you guys think?
I love it.